My soul has been anchored. That's a song that I have on loop, on repeat, and I've been listening to it all morning long. You know, it's a song that I recently heard sung in person. I had never heard that song, no choirs, no soloist. I've never heard them sing that song. My soul is anchored in the Lord. And I went to a funeral a couple of weeks ago in Chicago. It was the father of my youngest daughter's boyfriend. And yeah, for those of you that know me in real life, can you believe it? Like, I am traveling across the country to, to attend something on behalf of my youngest daughter. She's old enough. And she's wonderful. She is a young woman that is just amazing. She handled it and supported her boyfriend through this. They've been dating for 2 years. He's a wonderful young man. I didn't think I was going to meet his family, especially in this way, this soon. He's such a great man. I always would ask my daughter, is he really this nice, off like off the scene, on the scene, whatever, or is this just around us? But she said, no, he's really like this. I mean, he's very charismatic. He's very inclusive and thoughtful, humble at the same time, a great listener, great speaker, just a great young man, someone that I definitely prayed for. And for those of you that know me, I've been praying for my children's spouses since they were 3 years old, because I figured by then, whoever they were going to end up with was born. They were born. So my prayers for them have always been that they were receiving a good upbringing, that they were covered by love, and they knew how to give love as well as receive it. Some people don't know how to receive it, and that could be a challenge. So meeting his family definitely showed me that is exactly how he was raised, with love. And his family was so inviting and embracive. I was blown away. Sometimes when they were gesturing towards me, especially at the beginning of the funeral and such, I would look around like, are they talking to me? They want me to come up there. So it was really something special in that way. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to meet his father before his passing. His father seemed like a dynamic man. Oh, I just wish I could go into all the things, with his funeral and what it had shown me about him as a person. But I will say, his youngest brother, he said he's the youngest, but not the baby. The youngest brother he said that his brother's sister, which is my daughter's boyfriend's sister. No, I'm sorry. His brother's daughter, his niece, asked him to sing this song because every day when he would visit his brother in the hospital, he would sing the song. And she said, at his service, please sing that song that you sang in the hospital. And the brother was like, I'll give it a shot. I don't think he's a singer in that way, but he sang this song, and I was just blown. I immediately stood to my feet because I love this song. I listened to it, but now I listen to it even more often, and it just means so much. If you have a moment, look it up. My soul is anchored in the Lord. I can't recall who the artist is that sings it, but please look it up and listen to the words. It is such a powerful gospel song. And hearing it in person, and then the choir behind him, when they kept it going, they knew that the feeling for that song was in the atmosphere, and they kept it going, and it was wonderful. A lot of people look at funerals as being this, I don't know if I can handle it kind of situation. And they are sad. I always shed tears, just the end of that chapter, that cycle around the sun for that person is over. But, they go on to live in eternity at the foot of God, at the throne. So they made it. They got there before us. They finished their race. That part makes me sad because they're not going to be with us in the body. However, especially if you had a relationship with them, they're going to be with you in the spirit always. But the funerals that I attended, especially the last two, and I listen, 6 to 8 weeks within that time frame, I've been to 3 services, and they all were different, and touched me in different ways. I took my dad to Baltimore for his first cousin passed away, and he was in his 90s, lived a tremendous life. The things that people spoke about him really spoke to who he was and the legacy that he's leaving behind. And that's all we all would want, is to have a legacy that's going to outlive us, and touch people's lives, enhance their lives in a way that even long after we're gone, for generations to come, that we're still making an impact in some form or fashion, either by something we've said to someone, taught them, shown them the life that we live, having that as an example, providing them with resources, tools, education, knowledge, whatever the case may be, that's going to continue to expand and empower them. That is our legacy too. So every day we should be looking for that. And for my father's cousin, that's what I saw, from the words that people were speaking about him. And it was important for my dad to be at that particular funeral. It was a challenge to get him there. It was just timing and all, but I knew it was important for him to be there. That was his last first cousin. My dad is the last out of 11 to still be surviving from his siblings. And I can't even imagine what that would be or feel like, to be the last of the last of the many, because he definitely had a large family. So I knew it was important for him to be there. And then I had a very, very dear friend that passed away, and she had so much life in her. She was a creative. She was very innovative. And the conversations that her and I would have were so uplifting and inspiring. I even found myself after her service the next day wanting to pick up the phone and call her, and just to even tell her how amazing of a job her family did in her memorial service. I looked back on our text messages, and the last message she sent me was, "Sis, I miss us." And I miss us too. So, I was honored to be able to attend her homegoing, and just to get the vibe of the people from all over the country that came out to show their respects for her and the impact that she's had on their lives as well. And, to support the family. Her daughter played basketball with my daughters. Her son started at North Carolina A&T University with my middle daughter, my center child. I remember taking him and her up there once before they started. And, I was just looking back on a couple of photos that I had taken of them by some of the landmarks on campus. And, all I know is she was a mother that loved her children. Her and her husband, they really wanted the best for their children, and she always had that concern of, I hope they get involved in the right things. She wants them to make the best life choices. And I would have to talk her down sometimes, because I'm like, let's not put too much pressure on them, because they're still developing, they're still trying to figure out this game of life. So we have to give them that grace. And I really enjoyed our conversations. We didn't speak all often, but when we did speak, it was deep and meaningful. And then, the last being the one for my youngest daughter's boyfriend's dad. And this one was in Chicago. So I went from Baltimore, Charlotte to Chicago. And again, it was an honor to be part of the family and to be embraced by the family and welcomed in. And the song, "My Soul Has Been Anchored," it just reminded me, and a lot of things remind me of this. One of the last things that my mother said to me, and I know the date, it was on August 22nd, 2010. I remember exactly where we were. We were in her bedroom. She was in her wheelchair, and it was a struggle for her to get it out, because at that time she could barely speak. She really wasn't verbal. She was using her speak assist machine, but for her, it was important for her to get these words out to me. And I remember her lightly touching my stomach, like she just reached out and just rubbed it and said, "Don't worry about anything because God sees everything." And sometimes if I find myself going down the rabbit hole of worry, I always go back to that message that she gave me, the last life lesson that she had given me, to don't worry about anything because God sees everything. And that song, My Soul is Anchored, and actually it's by, no, I don't know, but My Soul is Anchored in the Lord reminds me of that. You got to know that God is our anchor, and whatever we're going through, whatever storm we're going through, he's going to help us survive it. We're going to get through it. And if not, then that's our storm, that's the one that's taking us out. But we still at the same time cannot worry. And, we're going to fight, and we're going to, we know we got to, maybe take some buckets and take the water off the ship to help not let the ship sink. But then there's times when the ship is just gonna sink. But that God still has you, and we still can't worry about that. In life, we have to do the best that we can do, and that's all we can do. And God got us the beginning, the middle, and the end of it all. Life is very fleeting, People talk about stress, and what I've come to realize years ago is that stress is not just negative things that go on in your life. It could be great things. It could be stuff that you love to do that, or you're great at doing, and that can be stressful because it could be a lot. And that's why I step off often. People always are like, well, you didn't answer your calls or you didn't respond to emails or whatever, because I stepped off. And that's how I keep my stress to a limit, because what's not going to happen is, God willing, that it won't be because of stress, good, bad, or indifferent, because my soul has been anchored in the Lord. And I'm not worrying about anything because God sees everything. So when it comes to that, we have to also know that we can't carry other people's burdens. We can't worry about what other people are saying or doing because we have no control over that. I don't worry about, what they're doing over there, how they doing that. That's not what I do. That takes me away from my productivity. That takes me away from my creativity. If I'm always constantly worrying about the next person, if someone's leveling up, that's their level up. When I level up, that's my level up. I don't concern myself with what other people are going to think about my level up, because that's my focus. If you veer your focus off of what people are going to think, then you're not 9 times out of 10 going to reach where you need to be. But I just wanted to come on here just to say, your soul is anchored in the Lord. And if you don't know that, figure that out. Know that it is. And as it's anchored, as you're going through the calm waters, the rough waters, the storms, know that the calm will come again. But what are you doing? How are you showing up in all of those things? That's your legacy. That's what the people see. And from you, that's the energy you're providing. What is that? Is your energy coming off as nervousness? Is your energy coming off as untrustfulness? Is your energy coming off as, just lack? Is your energy coming off as ingenuine, not or being authentic? What is your energy? We want your energy to be authentic, to be strong, to be empowering, to be inspiring, motivating. We want your energy to be something that when people leave, they feel better about themselves, about life, about their next move, their next step. That's what it's all about. So my soul has been anchored in the Lord, and it has been for decades. And I hope that yours is too. Thank you for watching to this point. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Is your soul anchored? And, has anyone ever told you that? Don't worry about anything because God sees everything. It's been my pleasure chatting with you, and I'll talk to you again soon. I am Coach Sherry.